The Internet Crimes Task Force is alleging that they investigate and prosecute only people that are using the Internet to prey on children. However, the truth is they are manufacturing crime and enticing innocent people by going to places on the Internet where people are already talking about sex or may even already be actively looking for sex, but not with children. Examples of such activities that constitute the entrapment are placing ads on Craigslist in the adult personal section advertising sex, and setting up fake profiles on dating websites such as Cupid, which is a dating site for adults, and setting up fake profiles in adult chat rooms that are rampant with pornography and sexual conversations. The law enforcement officers violates the terms of use agreements for these websites and also violates the constitutional rights of the suspects because of the malicious intent of law enforcement while using the service, and therefore the people that the law enforcement agencies are arresting are innocent because they were not seeking for minors to have sexual encounters with. It is obvious because the stings are not even being performed in minor-oriented websites, and law enforcement agencies blatantly lie and tell the public that the stings were performed in minor-oriented websites just to give the impression of guilt and to give the illusion of crime prevention. The law enforcement officials are only using the principle of first contact to assert that these stings do not constitute entrapment, but they are sadly mistaken. They incorrectly operate under the assumption that as long as these criminals contact them first, they can induce and encourage these individuals any way they want to. The officers are not only portraying themselves as minors, but they are portraying themselves as willing participants in sexual communications encouraging the illegal activity. These circumstances do not constitute a violation of the child solicitation statute. Sexually oriented communication on a computer online service which is viewed by a child is not a violation of the statute unless the sender of the communication knowingly attempts by the communication to seduce the child. The fact of the matter is, you cannot seduce the willing. Also, when it comes to sexual communication, what kind of communication do the law enforcement officials expect when they visit adult chat rooms or place ads advertising for sex? Do they expect people to be talking about the weather? Finally, what else are these so-called criminals being bribed with other than sex? Wake up, citizens! The statistics alone on child molestation cases prove that there is something wrong with these internet stings. Far too many arrests are being made and far too many of the people being arrested are just average citizens like you. Stop being lied to by overzealous law enforcement agencies that don't care who they arrest as long as they can make them look guilty. Internet sex stings are entrapment. This is why I believe they need to be stopped. Entrapment is defined as a law enforcement officer, a person engaged in cooperation with a law enforcement officer, or a person acting as an agent of a law enforcement officer perpetrates an entrapment if, for the purpose of obtaining evidence of the commission of a crime, he or she induces or encourages and, as a direct result, causes another person to engage in conduct constituting such crime by employing methods of persuasion or inducement which create a substantial risk that such crime will be committed by a person other than one who is ready to commit it. Evidence shows that they do not end up arresting child predators, and that they have not made the Internet any safer. Law enforcement should not beg or harass someone into committing a crime. In some cases, the officers are reported to the website they are patrolling, only to continue to harass and stalk the suspects, trying to gather any evidence they can use against them. This needs to be stopped. How is it possible to sit at your own computer exercising your First Amendment rights and be the subject of a police internet sex stings operation? Actually, your vulnerability becomes quite apparent once you understand the internet crime laws. The police have developed scripted dialogues for alleged suspects using the Internet that will add more felony charges to a case. For example, During an internet sex sting, the police officer will ask the suspect to send pictures of himself. If the suspect sends a picture of himself in clothes, the police will ask for nude photographs. They will often try to arrange a meeting place with the suspect, and ask them to bring incriminating items such as a condom. What if the suspect receives an unsolicited email with a photo of child pornography attached? According to the Penal Code, if the suspect receives unsolicited child pornography over the Internet, there is no violation of the law so long as the suspect does not make copies or send copies to others. The law, however, does not say whether or not the suspect must destroy these files. Attorneys recommend that anyone who receives any unsolicited child pornography should destroy it immediately. You cannot afford to be found with such photos on your computer, nor try to prove that they were unsolicited. Internet law is extremely complex, and an Internet sting defense lawyer must be highly familiar with the law, as well as the ways people use it to participate and communicate on the Internet, such as news groups, peer-to-peer sharing systems, and email systems, and so on. The Internet's participatory nature and society's interest in sexual topics is used by law enforcement to escalate the public's unfounded fear that the Internet is a vast playground for predatory adults looking for children to molest. While thousands of actual acts of child molestation occur daily within families across the nation, one perceived Internet molestation becomes a media circus that ends up terrorizing parents. These alleged predators defy all logic. Despite all the electronic safeguards and precautions in place, supposedly they still can enter homes through the modem to lure children into sexual acts. The parents are more afraid of faceless phantoms than they are of real live family members who statistically pose a greater threat to their children. This phobia is even more irrational when it involves the fear of homosexual predators. Parents think that a homosexual is able to kidnap their child and recruit him or her into the homosexual lifestyle through their children's computers. This form of homophobia is at the heart of a parent's fear of the Internet and the hysteria that endangers everyone's constitutional rights, and police play on these fears and misinform the public of the reality. The Patriot Act is filled with all sorts of insanity about changing the way civil rights are protected, or not protected as the case may be. This information is for those that are experiencing a force to move due to these issues. I can only hope it helps. However, I have found that people are not informed, and the sex offender registry itself is uninformative and offers just enough information to enrage people. The structure of the registry is to portray all sex crimes as black and white, as if they were all the same. All sex offenders are considered to be child molesters by the public even if their crime did not involve a child. Sadly, this is what the police and the state want you to think. I hope that now you can reflect, and call for a change in the system. It is broken, and the next person who may pay the price could be your son or daughter, or it may be you.